New polling out of Iowa is tremendous for Donald Trump, leading Joe Biden by double digits. And this may be a predictor of what's to come in November. Now, 538 has revised their simulation model a couple times. About a week ago, they said Donald Trump was the favorite, switching from Biden being the favorite. But as of right now, it is 50-50, which I will just tell all of you suggests Joe Biden will win. A lot of people are very excited at the prospect of a Donald Trump victory. I believe that if the election were held today, Donald Trump would win. But I believe we are looking at a shadow campaign. I do not believe it's fair to say that Democrats are just sitting by, ignoring the polling, and they don't have a plan. I think it's fair to say that Democrats know the plan is not what they put in front of your eyes. Republicans consistently play this game. Win the argument, win the polling. And Democrats consistently play the just focus on what the rules are and win through exploitation. That is to say, you can call it cheating in the spirit of things, but perhaps it is just, well, I think it's fair to call it cheating. I do. I want to break down what that means. Let's say that, this is a really great viral video where it's speed ice skaters. And the way ice skating works is they all go slow in the beginning, slowly start speeding up, and then go really fast and try and finish the laps faster than anyone else. In this viral video, the Chinese team, which has two racers, right in the beginning, one of the Chinese speed skaters falls back a little bit from the crowd, giving her enough space to boost up and lap the entire group. She is now in first place, but drafting behind the other skiers, making it easier for her to maintain her speed without having to be, and maintain her speed in first place without being in front of the pack. What ends up happening is the ref, whatever you call it, calls final lap, and the skaters think they're about to win. They actually have one more lap to complete. The Chinese racer hits first place, and the other teammate who knew the strategy keeps speeding around while all the other speed skaters stop. Basically, exploiting the rules. It's a little complicated if you need to watch the video. But basically, doing something that was well within the rules that broke the spirit of a race. What's a race? We go as fast as we can. We see who's the fastest. That's not what they did. The comments were divided. They said it was cheating. Others said it's strategy. The reality is there's the spirit of the rules, the spirit of the game, and the actual written rules. And what we see with Democrats is that they don't care for what constitutes a body of people. They care for what is written down that you are willing to enforce against. Republicans operate in this world of a constitution of people. Democrats operate in the world of a written constitution. What does that mean? It does not mean that Democrats believe that what is written in the Constitution is how they must abide. It means that however they can exploit the language, you will bow to. Whereas Republicans operate under this premise, and the right, I would say, of what makes up the body of people and what they generally believe to be true. That is to say, we have a First Amendment. It's written in the Constitution. We all agree with free speech. And the Democrats go, right, except hate speech. And you say, whoa. Constitution says free speech. And they go, right, but hate speech is different. What they're doing is they're exploiting language. That's the game they play. When it comes to the elections, like in 2020, what do we see? Republicans say, in the spirit of an election, I will challenge you to a debate. I will then make arguments as to why I'm justified. And I will convince as many of you as possible to vote for me. Don't get me wrong. Republicans do have lawfare, too. They have lawyers. Democrats say, yeah, I don't care what you think. All I got to do is get a piece of paper. And it's probably the right approach. I'll put it this way. When it comes to making money, there are a lot of people in this country that think making money is about getting a job. It's actually really simple if you break it down to its rudimentary functions. Making money is about convincing someone through legal means to hand you money. That's it. There are rich people who make six figures, they make $500K a year, and what do they do for society? Nothing. They convince someone with money that they have a service that's worth the money, and the person willfully hands the money over. Now, fraud is when you lie about it. But if you went to someone and said, oh, here we go, check this out. I got this cool little thing that someone sent me, right? It's a little me on a skateboard, a little bobblehead a knitted thing. If I said this could be sold for $1 million and someone bought it for $1 million, there's no fraud there. I just convinced someone to give me the money. Take a look at Hunter Biden's paintings. The world Democrats live in is a world of exploitation. They stay within what is written down that they can bend and manipulate so that you, the right, will accept what they are doing. But long story short, getting non-citizens to vote, mass mail-in voting, ballot harvesting is cheating. But it's allowed. Is it strategy or is it cheating? In my view, it's cheating because we're all playing a game. Actually, you know what? I got another example for you. For those that are familiar with poker, you already know what I'm talking about. For those that don't, it's called angle shooting. So I'll give you an example. Angle shooting, and you don't need to know about what poker is when in the game you engage in a behavior that looks like you made a mistake or something, but it's not against the rules to trick the other player. It's frowned upon, but allowed. An example is, so if you've ever seen a movie with poker, you know that someone will be like, I bet $100. Well, one example of angle shooting is when one player is supposed to make a bet, fold, or check, meaning like let's say you bet $10. This guy then goes, one example will be, he'll go, okay, and then he'll grab, instead of two $5 chips, two $25 chips, throw them in the middle and go, oh no, I'm sorry, I meant to put in 10, not 50. Oh, geez, not against the rules. I just made a mistake. Sometimes players do this to make it seem like, oh no, now I'm going to lose. Oh, geez, please don't put your money in. But they're really tricking you into thinking they screwed up and now you can exploit them. That's how Democrats handle elections. That's what we are seeing with all of this. They're angle shooting. They're acting like they're playing the rules so that you agree with them, but they are violating the spirit of the game and making it unfun for everybody because they want power. Let me break it down. We'll actually get into the news now. The New York Post, how non-citizens are getting voter registration forms across the U.S. and how Republicans are trying to stop it. Welfare offices and other agencies in 49 U.S. states are providing voter registration forms to migrants without requiring proof of citizenship, leading Republicans and conservatives to call for swift federal action to stop the handouts. Every state but Arizona, which recently passed a law barring the practice on state but not federal forms, gives applicants for either welfare benefits, driver's licenses, or in some cases mail-in ballots, voter registration forms without demanding proof of citizenship. So here's what happens. Democrats say, non-citizens can't vote, so who cares? Then, 100,000 non-citizens all register. They show up, they cast ballots. When has there ever been an audit of the vote to check against citizenship? Trump claims. In 2016, there were millions of illegal immigrants who were voting, and they said, he's full of it. There's no real check. They don't look up, John Smith to see if he's a citizen or not. They just, here's the ballot. Have a nice day. This is what Democrats do. It's not against the rules to hand someone a voter registration form. It's illegal for them to vote. They fill out the form. They're registered to vote. They still didn't vote. And they still say, yeah, but it's not. And then if one or two vote, okay, sure. Maybe we catch that. What about when it's a million? Then what? Check this out. White House announces mass amnesty plan for illegal immigrants married to U.S. citizens. It is not going to be, they're covering their bases and people aren't paying attention. This story from the National Review from today. The Biden admin announced on Tuesday sweeping executive action to provide legal protections to tens of thousands of illegal immigrants who are married to U.S. citizens. I called this. You called this. We all called this. When I say I called this, I'm not trying to say, look how smart I am. I saw this one coming. We all did. We all saw it coming. We all called this. We knew Joe Biden would begin to offer up amnesty. This is the plan. It's why they bring in millions of illegal immigrants. This is the play. The order touted by the White House as an effort to keep families together protects the spouses of American citizens. Now, this is blatantly unconstitutional. So is DACA. The idea is this. The president is the head of the executive branch handling law enforcement. The president can simply say to his federal agencies that handle immigration, don't enforce it. He can give those, stand down. Now, people will still break the law, but he won't enforce against it. he has a duty to, but the argument is, well, there's a legitimate reason, and here we are. We are now going to see, they say an estimated 1.1 million illegal immigrants are married to U.S. citizens, and Biden's new program, referred to Parole in Place, would benefit nearly 500,000. They are going to do everything in their power to bolster their numbers. Polls don't matter because they're not polling new migrants and illegal immigrants in the same way. The demographics are changing. Ladies and gentlemen, oh boy. Biden to give legal status to undocumented spouses of U.S. citizens work visas for DACA recipients. Now, the first part we just read. The second part, work visas for DACA. Once again, unconstitutional, a violation of our laws. And then when Texas tries to enforce immigration, they say you're not allowed to. So what does that leave us? Illegal immigrants flood this country. The states are incapable or unwilling. Those that do try to stop it are attacked by the federal government, who will not do its job under the Constitution. I don't know. Civil war? How does this resolve itself? Do you think Texas just says we are totally fine with having our border be overrun? They're clearly not. We're seeing what's happening. Will the federal government intervene to stop them? Will it matter? They're going to steal power. This is what they do. And they're doing it through strategic exploitation of the rules that are in play. Nobody's going to go and check. I'll tell you another poker angle shooting trick. So, and this is, again, what the Democrats do. Make this analogy. Oh, and especially because I love poker. Y'all know it. So when you're playing at a table with poker, and there's like 8, maybe 9 people, depends on the kind of table you're at. It comes down to 2 people that are playing against each other. They call it heads up, head to head, right? You both are looking at your cards. You're trying to get the best hand. There have been many instances. I've witnessed this. It's amazing. Most of you probably know the basics. A straight is 5 cards in a sequence. So it's a pretty good hand. Then there's 2 pair. That's when you have, maybe in your hand, you have like ace king, and the 5 cards on the board is also an ace king. So your hand is 2 pairs. I was at the casino, and this guy made a bet. The other guy called the bet. Showdown. One guy goes straight without showing his cards, and the other guy goes and throws his cards into the muck, it's called. The dealer takes the 2 cards and shuffles them away into the garbage. The guy who said straight then flips over a hand that was not, in fact, a straight, and he goes, 4 cards at least. He had nothing, absolutely nothing. The other dude immediately loses, said, I had 2 pair. I won. And they're like, you threw your cards away, you lose. And he's like, you lied. Welcome to the poker table. And the old guy started chuckling and laughing with his big old beer belly as he shoveled all of the money into his stack. And he was like, there's a lesson for you, kid. The kid got super pissed, threw his money, and got up and left. It's a trick. Everybody says, you wait until the cards are flipped because these people will lie, cheat, and steal to take your money. Welcome to the real world, kid. He had the winning hand, but the dude lied about what was in his hand. This is the game being played by Democrats right now. They're going to let illegal immigrants vote. There will be no challenge to who these voters are. So this is why I use that analogy. You're going to have Republicans with, let's say Republicans have 100 votes. Democrats, in the end, they'll say 110. Democrats will then look at the Republicans and say 110. Republicans will go, oh, you got me. Throw their cards away. And then Democrats will flip over to reveal, oops, 20 of these were actually non-citizens who illegally voted. We win anyway. My point is, no one's going to check. They're going to, let me pull this up right here. HAVV, you guys remember this one? The Help America Vote Verification System. Let's pull up, here we go, June 1st, 2024. What do we have here? Pennsylvania, 104,000. That's fascinating. 87 of them were dead. Single match found alive. We have 97,563. What is this? What is this? Here we go. 6,500 non-matches. What? How does that make sense? Let me explain to you, for those that don't know what HAVV is. This is Help America Vote Verification. I'll tell you what it's supposed to be. This is a system by which, when someone tries to register to vote, if they do not have a license or ID, they can put down their social security number. The form is then submitted to the DMV or Motor Vehicle, Administration, whatever you call it, MVA, DMV. They then take those forms, and if there's no ID, ask the Social Security Administration if the number exists matching the name. The SSA then logs how many they get. In 1 week, Pennsylvania got 104,250 voter registration attempts with no ID. 6,582 did not match a social security number. So who tried registering to vote without a social security number? Let me stress that again. 6,582 people in 1 week who don't have social security numbers tried to register. Who are these people? The dead ones I get. Let's play the game. HAVV says, and this has been an ongoing scandal, it's never been addressed. What is HAVV? They outright say that states are required to verify the driver's license number against the MVA database. Only in situations where no driver's license exists may the state verify the last 4 digits of the social security number. The state submits the last 4 SSN name, date of birth to the MVA for verification with the Social Security Administration. In addition, SSA is required to report whether the person is deceased. Only in situations where no license exists may the state verify. They say the state must submit the applicant's name, date of birth, last 4. So they outright, they say when an applicant for voter registration does not have a driver's license, the state may request a verification. Nowhere does it say they are allowed to do voter roll cleanup with old registration forms, which they've archived, and existing people in their database to SSA for voter roll cleanup. Many have argued the number it must be so high because, because they're cleaning up their voter rolls. Okay, let's play this game. Pennsylvania, one of the most important states, 6,582 people did not match the SSA database. That would imply these people don't have social security numbers. So people without social security numbers, 6,500 in 1 week tried to register to vote. I got some questions here. Now let's play this game. No, Pennsylvania is simply doing voter roll cleanup. They're doing voter roll cleanup. That means on their voter rolls, there were 6,582 people who were registered to vote who didn't have IDs and didn't have social security numbers. That's even crazier. I don't buy it. So the question is, why are there 100,000 people without IDs trying to register to vote? We don't know. Now, when you get a work permit, you get a tax ID number, you get what's effectively a social security number. The fear here that these people are non-citizens being registered to vote through federal programs. West Virginia sued, saying we will not accept registrations in West Virginia from people who are registered by the federal government, because that's what Biden's been doing since 2021. 203,000 is the total number. Missouri had 19,000. 1,654 didn't match. Makes no sense. Take a look at Maryland. 2,618 attempted registrations. 2,534 had no match. Who are these people trying to register to vote who aren't in the Social Security Administration's database? And who's paying attention to it? Illinois had 9,000. Same problem. 1,392 didn't match. Georgia with 6,000. What is this? Arizona with 29,000. I got to tell you, the big concern here is that there is an unprecedented attempt to register illegal immigrants or even just, permanent residents who have no right to vote so that Democrats can win. I have no idea. We don't know exactly what is going on. What we can say is this has never been answered for. It's never been accounted for. We can jump back. Let's go to not the 18th. Let's go to May 4th. Because Texas's numbers have always been wild. Texas that week only had 7,000, but take a look at this. North Carolina with 74,000. Very interesting. Here's Missouri with 68,000. 4,000 didn't register, and 419 were dead. Missouri said it's voter roll cleanup. Well, first, perhaps, but that would mean they are exploiting the game. HAVV is not supposed to be used in this way. It says it on their own website. Okay. It's not against it's not against the rules. It's just not explicitly stated, sort of. So they're just doing it. That's what I'm talking about, exploitation and angle shooting. Who's doing this and why? Now, I don't buy it for a second. Why? How would it be possible that there are 4,107 people registered to vote in Missouri who don't have IDs and are not in the SSA database? I don't buy it. What does make sense is 4,107 people tried to register to vote for the first time without an ID, and they are not in the SSA database. Now, to be fair, it's important to mention that some of these may be that they wrote the number down wrong. Their date of birth was inputted wrong, and so non-matches could come back because someone made a mistake. I do not believe that we are really seeing 8% of these applications, people typoing their names or numbers. Take a look at this. In North Carolina, with 74,000 registrations, 30,000 came back with no match. Bullish. I do not believe for a second 31,000 people accidentally wrote down the wrong number. Who are these 30,000 people with no ID and no social security number? I want to know. We're not getting answers. I think the Republicans need to be investigating this. They ain't doing it. So, my friends, good luck. People think Trump is going to win. They're excited for Trump going to win. But if you're not paying attention to what the game actually is, then you lose. I think we need to call on Republicans to get answers for this. Because if we don't, you may end up with 1 million plus illegal immigrants voting, and no one is going to check because it's so granular and so massive. How would you do it? I say this. Good luck. I'll leave it there. Next segment's coming up at 4 p.m. on this channel. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you all then.